Welcome back. We're live on 5. Christopher Biggins is here with me, and we're now joined by Clare Montagu, who is the COO of Poppy's Funerals. Now, it makes it sound as though Christopher Biggins isn't feeling his best, although actually you're in tip-top form, I'm delighted to say.
I am, but funerals are very interesting because I don't know about you, but I go to so many funerals nowadays. Do you know what I hope, though? When we die, I hope we stay around long enough to see who comes to the funeral.
But even if you're annoyed or very delighted, it's a bit too late.
Well, no, but I would just like to know who makes the effort to go.
I think that's
quite
valid.
I suppose nowadays there are certain different ways you can be buried or cremated or whatever.
Yeah,
is there a popular way at the moment?
So most people still choose to be cremated,
yeah.
But there are so many different ways in which you can celebrate someone's life before you're cremated. And increasingly popular are woodland burials and natural burials, where people want to have buried in places that are going to support biodiversity and nature.
And is it hard to find a place in a woodland where you can just be buried?
No, there are specialist burial grounds, and we can arrange that for you as well.
Gosh, and lots of people want to turn it into a kind of fiesta, a celebration. You know, you hear people saying everyone should wear pink or purple at my funeral because it was my favourite colour, or that sort of a thing. Is that getting more common?
I think so. I think more people are having the confidence to be able to choose the elements that are important to them and not feel that they're hidebound by traditions that were generated in the Victorian era, really.
But could Vanessa be buried in her garden?
Yes.
Can you?
If you own your property,
really?
You can indeed be buried in your garden. However, you need to be 200 metres from a water source, and you also need to put it on the deeds, so that you need to know that you might be exhumed at a later
Well, I'd
stage.
love to hear from you on this one, beautiful viewer. Have you planned your own funeral? Maybe meticulously. Maybe you've chosen the music, you've decided what people should wear. Maybe you think that's a bit morbid. It's the last thing you want to think about. But do tell me. 0207 862 2222 is the number. Do give us a ring. And people are opting, I suppose in a way that they are with weddings as well, really, for something a little out of the ordinary. They don't necessarily want theirs to be exactly the same as everyone else's.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. People are choosing elements quite often within a traditional setting, but a modern twist. So we had someone who had a horse and carriage hearse, very traditional, but with the horses wearing unicorns and glitter on their hooves, for example. Or we have...
Christopher's looking slightly nonplussed. Horses dressed as unicorns with glitter on them. I mean, it's rather celebratory.
It is. And I think that whatever people want, they should have. You know, if that's the way they want to be seen for their last time, great.
I mean, I went to a funeral not that long ago. Actually, it was a cremation, now I think about it. And we were in the crematorium place having the service, and it was delightful. And then the coffin was just about to shoot off down the thingamy-bob to the thing.
The catafalque,
the inferno, you know that. And so everyone was slightly heart in the mouth. And suddenly the music struck up and it went, heaven. I'm in heaven. And it was wonderful because people didn't know whether to laugh or cry. It was kind of a lovely moment. It was unexpected. Are lots of people doing that kind of thing, the kind of musical
Yes, all sorts of things. I mean, for my funeral, I'm going to have Common People by Pulp, and I hope that people are going to get up and start dancing.
Is that because you think the people at your funeral will be very common? Why is that?
No, it's because of my age, Vanessa. But don't forget, do you remember Shane MacGowan from the Pogues when he died?
Yes.
He had a very traditional Catholic mass, but they played Fairy Tale of New York, and everyone got up and started dancing in that as well. So I think the most important thing is people are feeling comfortable to express themselves and don't feel they have to be awkward or hushed or shy about this.
Have you decided what you want to do? Do you want to be buried or cremated?
God, I'm just hoping to avoid the whole thing. I was hoping death might be illegal by the time it gets to me. I don't fancy it much. Let's go to Jacqueline in Oxford. Jacqueline, you have planned your funeral. Thank you so much for ringing in. What have you decided you want done?
Hi, Vanessa. I had a very... I'm originally from the East End, and I want to have the traditional horses and the black plumes and whatever, and what's the name, and then I'd like to have sung on Mother Kelly's Doorstep.
Oh, I love that song.
But,
I bet you've performed that song, haven't you?
Yeah.
I have, Old Time Musical.
Gosh,
Very good song there.
I remember Danny LaRue singing that, a little hole in a frock, hole in a shoe, hole in a stocking where a toe peeps. Oh, but she was the smartest down our alley. Who are you going to have singing it at the funeral, Jacqueline?
Oh, I don't know, to be honest with you.
You don't know. And tell
But
me,
I've planned the funeral so my kids don't have to worry about it.
and what did they say? Well, they'll abide by whatever it is that you request.
No, they just said, oh, well, I just thought I'd come into some money.
Right.
And I thought, well, why not? You know what I mean?
So
I'm
you're
not
going to
getting
spend the
any
money you
younger.
came into on your funeral and giving yourself a good send-off. It's a shame you can't go to it. That's the thing I always think. You want to be there as the main guest, Jacqueline.
Oh, I'll be there, but yeah, as I say, there you go, never mind. But,
Listen, I hope it's a long way away, and thank you very much indeed for calling. I mean, the music matters a lot, doesn't it?
It does indeed.
Lots of people think the actual look of the coffin matters enormously.
Yeah.
And people are having coffins made out of wonderful things and also
That's right.
painted with wonderful things.
That's right.
What sorts of things?
So you can have coffins in almost any shape and size that you want. So a rainbow coffin is very popular, perhaps for people who identify as LGBTQ+, or someone who just wants something a bit more colourful. We've got mushroom coffins.
Just tell us what a mushroom coffin
So a
is.
mushroom coffin is a coffin made of mycelium and upcycled hemp, and it basically enriches nature. So it returns to the earth when you bury it. It decomposes very quickly and enriches the soil around you. So
And a crop of mushrooms genuinely
and a
comes
crop
up?
of mushrooms genuinely materialises.
Absolutely. I've heard of people who are cremated and then their ashes and remains are turned into, is it a firework? And they're shot off
yep,
out of a cannon
you can
into space. Have you heard of
absolutely
that?
do Yep, you
Yes.
can absolutely. Your ashes can go anywhere with the landowner's permission. So you can't just go around scattering them in willy-nilly in parks, but you can send them up into space if that's what you want to do, or you can encase them in an urn that then you bury with compost and you create a tree out of them.
You can also have yourself made into jewellery, can't you?
You can indeed. You can have ashes
Bestow
made
it upon the next generation, insist they wear it. There's a
can
grandma
have-
in a
yep.
ring, grandma in a brooch. You can do all of that. Let's talk to Mandy in Mid Glamorgan. So, Mandy, your mum died in February. My condolences to you. And since that point, you've been thinking about your own funeral, obviously.
Yeah, I'm sorry about this. I'm trying not to break down. It was only 2 weeks ago, Wednesday, that she got buried. But we had,
Oh, I didn't realise
we only
it was
live
so
in the
recent.
valleys.
Sorry about
We
that.
had a
Man.
horse-drawn carriage for my friend. My cousin brought his dog down from Aberystwyth. He was at the funeral, and we had doves set off to represent me, Dad and Mum, because I was the only sibling, set off to Barbara Streisand and Evergreen.
Oh, lovely.
And, and then the day after, I questioned, because I'm in my 60s and I've never done it before, and it questions your own mortality. So I think you should arrange it before time, because I don't want to leave that up to my children, or I have to go through and arrange stuff. And, when your head is all over the place on top of everything.
And have you had thoughts about what you might like for yours then, Mandy?
Well, we're horse people, yeah, and you don't see horse-drawn carriages up the valleys, but they had lilac plumes, and we all had something lilac on because that was our favourite colour.
Right.
And yeah, I like, we're horse people, and that's why we done that for her, and my dad worshipped the ground she walked. Dad worshipped the ground she walked on, like.
Oh,
I'm awfully sorry.
This is all very, very recent for you. This is very difficult. I get that, and I really appreciate the call, and I feel for you. I'm sending you lots of love. Thank you, Mandy, very much. Let's go to Sarah on the line in Devon. Sarah, what did you have at your mum's funeral?
Oh, Mum went off with Harley Davidson.
Yes. You had dance. I hear you had dance music. Is that right?
Yes. Even through the service, she went off to Queen's I Want to Break Free. She told me that. But we had a parade of Harley Davidsons on behind us and a BAC in front, because my grandfather used to drive a BAC. Then at the celebration afterwards, I told everybody to just wear what they wanted to wear. It didn't matter, because Mum wouldn't have wanted it like that. But we had dance music playing all the way through. So, and the celebrant came to the house. So I just said, "Oh, you're good looking, you're doing," just pulled him into the house. Because my mum would have loved that, because he wasn't like a normal religious or whatever. So I just said, "You're just really good looking, Mum would love you. You can come straight in."
Oh, my God.
And just yanked him in. So it was just like really celebration of her life. And then she's scattered on beer in St Ives Beach, because she used to go fishing with my grandfather on Beer Beach down in Devon.
Uh-huh.
So it was like, there was one friend who wasn't going to come because it was a funeral. I said, "Oh, I completely understand, but I said, it won't be like a funeral, it'll be like a complete celebration.
It
of
really
her
does
life.
sound like that, though, Sarah. It sounds like
Yeah,
you really
yeah, it
nailed
was.
that. You really got the
Yeah, we were
jubilation, the
dancing.
humour, the love, the tenderness, the you know, the
Yeah.
eccentricity, just the whole thing of your mum. Thank you so much for ringing. I mean,
Yeah.
this is the knack, isn't it?
It is.
To make it, I suppose, make the funeral fit the person. Have a
Absolutely.
bespoke funeral. So if somebody is, you know, solemn and traditional is absolutely fine. If they were a party animal who loved a good-looking celebrant and was, you know, a funster, you can reflect that.
Yeah, and I think the most important thing is that you do something that's right for you and that you don't feel hamstrung by tradition. And we had someone we looked after where we had a swing band who took his cortege around the local area in London.
Wow.
And they played out show tunes that were related to the chap who died. And
Fantastic.
They then played I Shot the Sheriff outside his local pub. Everyone came out to salute him. But it was also part of quite a traditional setup. He had a horse and carriage and there was a black hearse and the mourners were in procession too. So you can mix modern and traditional in whatever way works for you.
I'll tell you one of the ones that you told me earlier that I really did love, this really spoke to me, was vegetables on the top of the coffin rather than flowers.
Yeah.
And obviously your beautiful husband, Neil, is the most gifted florist, so that's one thing. But this person was, I think, an allotment holder.
He was an allotment holder. He was an allotment holder. And so we had an arrangement of vegetables and globe artichokes and
Marrows.
all sorts.
Could have been beautiful, couldn't it?
Absolutely.
I mean, I really, that to me is such a beautiful kind of poetic tribute to that person. So personal.
Absolutely recognising the person that they were.
Yes.
But you can put all sorts of things on top of a coffin. You can have tomatoes, you can have trilby hats, you can have chess pieces.
There are lots of commercials now on television where people are, you can buy your own funeral before.
Yes.
And why is that suddenly very popular, do you think?
So I think a bit like some of your callers have highlighted, some people are particularly when they've organised a funeral, say for someone that either their partner or a parent, are starting to think about what it might mean for their kids in particular. Yes. And some people do want to plan ahead and they want to put money aside to enable a funeral to be affordable.
I think it helps them sleep better. You know, you just think, well, I've taken care of that. That's not going to be a burden for my kids. I think makes a great deal of sense. Let's talk to Jazz in Nottingham. Jazz, you direct funerals. Have you noticed many of them being much more bespoke and tailor-made?
Hi, Vanessa. Lovely to talk to you. I'm not actually a director. I'm sorry, that's my bell. Did you hear that?
Yes.
Yes, I'm not a director. I'm a celebrant.
Oh, you're a celebrant.
I'm a celebrant. Yes. So I do a lot of funerals, and I do lots of different funerals as well. So yeah, I've got experience of doing some very quirky ones.
For example,
so we've had things like you know, like the lady before was saying about a biker's funeral.
Yeah.
And I did one for somebody who was very, very creative and into nature. So we did a woodland funeral for her. And she didn't have a coffin. She had like a felt bag almost, a sleeping bag type of biodegradable one that could go into the ground. Yeah. And it was covered in pictures of chickens and vegetables and all the things that she grew. Yeah. So it was a full representation of her. And she was a great tea lover. So everybody in the room had to have a cup of tea as they walked in. So it was quite fantastic, actually. So, yeah, funerals are about reflecting the person. You know, it's about a celebration of their life, not a morose event, really. It's more uplifting. And the music usually people choose is quite uplifting on the whole.
Yes.
It's getting less rare to have hymns and that kind of thing, unless they're particularly religious. Otherwise, you know, it is about the person, and if they like Bollywood films, there's some Bollywood music playing, you know. It can be anything and everything.
And as a celebrant, do you find that you are smiling and you yourself feel uplifted at the end?
Absolutely, yes. It's definitely a tribute to that particular person and a celebration of life. You know, it's not about what I want or what the funeral director thinks should happen. The funeral directors work quite closely with the family too, and they support them to get the funeral that they want.
Fantastic to hear from you, Jazz. I just want to fit Robin in Gloucestershire in. Now this is a man after my own heart. He would like Shakespeare at his funeral. I wonder whether you might as well.
No.
No, oh no, OK. Rather have a couple of lines from Panto. Oh, yes, you would.
Exactly.
Robin, which bit of Shakespeare would you like, sir? Robin, what would you like?
I'm going to forget. I think it's from The Tempest. It's about we come and go, on a stage, and we disappear into a sort of mist. It's the evanescence of. It's a lot. I'm sorry, I've forgotten. Put it down to my age, but I have bought my funeral, and I do want some Bach. I want a particular piece of Bach. It's going to be very dignified, but at the very end, at the back of the order of service, in tiny print, I want a printing mistake in the Bristol Evening Post, okay, in the obituaries. Yeah. And I love this, and it's going to be in tiny letters, in loving memory of a very dead dad.
Oh my goodness, how lovely! I like the Shakespeare, I like the Bach, I like the whole thing. I like the vibe, and I like your voice on the television.
Vanessa, I'm going to engineer it so I can blackmail into you coming. I want you to come to my funeral.
I just hope it's not going to be for at least another 30 or 40 years, Robin. That's the main thing. Thank you so much for ringing in. I do like the elegance of wanting Shakespeare and Bach.
I had a girlfriend who loved a cocktail, and at the beginning of the service, we put a real martini cocktail on the coffin for her, which I thought was charming and really nice.
OK, if anyone's thinking, man, I don't want a Diet Coke on my coffin. I do like a carbonated fizzy drink. I don't fancy it's a bit lowbrow, I think. Claire, you've been fantastic. Clare Montagu, thank you very much indeed. After this short break, do you know how to be the perfect guest? Well, my guest definitely does. Should you always